Hey everybody, it's xRellic here, and the rust is finally gone. Yesterday I was playing Modern Warfare 3, and over the span of 20 games, I'm quite sure that I averaged about 45 kills. Nowhere lower than 35, and all the way up to 70 kills at some points. It was a lot of fun. I finally have my shot back. I'm getting these kills. And this gameplay I actually hit last night while I was playing with two friends. Luongo's Jesus and BO3 Lee Swagger. It was really fun. We controlled this game really nicely, and I ended up going 46-1. I did get the Assault MOAB. I'm running Assault on my ACR with a silencer and a red dot sight. My perks are Scavenger Pro, Hardline Pro, and Marksman Pro. So that's why the red names are coming up, because I really like Marksman. It's good. Gives you a big advantage when they're not using Assassin, because you can really find them right away. Even when you don't see them, you know, just quick aim down sight and they pop up a red. I managed to get 3 Pavlos this game in my life before I get the MOAB. And to be quite honest, if they didn't shoot my AH6s and Pavlos down, I'm pretty sure I would have hit 100 kills this game, because I managed to get 46 essentially with just my gun and MOAB and Predator missiles, which I'm pretty sure I got 1 in all 3 or 4 of them. And if my Pavlos and H6s were going off on these kids, I easily would have gotten another 40, maybe 50 kills. So, a little unlucky in that regard. You know, sometimes you get lucky and find a team that never shoots anything down. But, you know, maybe another time. I'm not complaining. I did get the MOAB, so it was a pretty good gameplay. It was pretty funny because for the very last kill for the MOAB, I used a nice little shot that I found a couple games ago. You could pop up in a little window to find some campers looking over the middle. And later in the video, you'll see my friend is following me, and I'm like, hold on, I'll show you where I got this last kill. And I'm walking into it, and I'm like, first what you want to do is you want to make sure no one's out on the right. And there's a guy there. I'm like, which there is. And I managed to get him, and he starts laughing. He's like, man, you were lucky. Even when you're explaining things and not even trying, you can get these things done. Realistically, this is the first time you guys are watching me use an assault rifle, and the one thing I do is when I want to push, when I want to rush, I make sure I'm using a submachine gun, because assault rifles, they're nice, they're powerful from a longer distance, but when you're rushing, you really just you need to stay to close corners to be able to do it successfully. And assault rifles, you kind of just want to control the map with these. So you can see right now, I'm not putting myself in too much danger, and I'm making sure that I'm not putting myself in the middle of the map either, because I'm not going to be able to turn on kids. I'm not going to be able to get those multi-kills on 2 or 3 guys. I just don't. This gun isn't a fast enough and powerful enough shot up close. Now there are a few tips I'll give you guys, because I feel like this is a good example of things that I usually do during successful gameplays. One thing I usually do is aim down my sight and wait. And I don't mean camp, I mean if you think there's a guy coming around the corner in the next 2, 3, 4 seconds, you aim down your sight and you make sure that you're ready for him if he's coming. And if not, then I usually move away. I don't camp, I don't wait for him to come around the corner. And in situations like that one, you never want to stay in their line of fire. You're flashed, they're putting shots on you, even though you're putting shots back at them. If you back off, you're going to have a better chance. And never stay in the same place for longer than you have to. There I got those 2 kills, and I could have waited on it, but I decided to move, and it was good because that guy spawned and easily would have gotten me from the side. And right here's another tip I'm going to give you guys. When you have air support out and you're trying to build up to your next one, take it slow. Let your air support do some work, because you don't want to be rushing around and looking for those last 3 kills I would have needed to get the Pavlo, when your H6 could easily get them, and you're kind of staying behind cover and making sure that you're not rushing out into open where 4 or 5 guys are going to be shooting at you from different angles. I am trying to control these objectives here. We lost C, so I'm getting ready to move in, but I don't have submachine gun. I'm not going to win these up close gunfights, so I'm trying to control the map, the gun battles here, and I managed to do that successfully. I don't die, I get the kills. I know that's been a lot of tips very quickly. There are a few more, so just hang on with me. Try and pay attention, because I hope that with giving you guys these tips, you get a little bit better, and that's always the goal of Call of Duty. You always want to be a little bit better. You always want to improve. So yeah, my next tip to you guys is drop shot. You have to learn how to do this to be successful, especially when you're using an assault rifle. You see here I'm pushing up the map, but right here, if someone comes around this corner, I'm going to lose this gunfight. Unless you know how to win those gunfights with an assault rifle. And the way I learned how to do it, I taught myself, is by drop shotting. You get out of their line of sight as fast as possible. So you'll see here's a perfect example of what I do. This guy has a submachine gun. I drop shot underneath his line of sight, and I managed to get the kill and stay alive and keep this gun streak going. So you guys need to learn how to win those gunfights, really put yourself in an advantageous spot, and you will stay alive a lot longer and you'll get a lot more kills. Another thing that I use fully to my advantage when I play is my map awareness. I see here that there's not any of my team on our side of the map, which is B and C side. So I kind of make sure I stick to the edges. I'm not pushing through the middle, because I know that the enemy team is going to be somewhere in the middle or on our side of the map. But you don't want to retreat back to where your team is, because you could get picked off from the side. If I had just run there, assuming my team was pushing from the A side to the middle, I would have died from him. He was sitting behind cover, head glitching, but I took my time, I made sure that it was safe, and it wasn't, so I got the kill. It comes down to it, Call of Duty is all about winning your games. I see that my team is on the other side, so I'm not going to retreat back there because of my gun streak. I'm going to push into there as they're capturing B, because I want to make it a two-prong attack. If I die, that's too bad, but this is the way we're going to win this game. We don't have a large lead. Make sure that as the enemy team thinks that the enemies are coming from A side, that as they're running away, trying to play it safe, I can pick them off and force them to lose B here as my team recoups and retakes the position. Lead me into my last tip for winning Call of Duty games. Playing the objective isn't about capturing the objective. Playing the objective is making sure you get them and control them. There, my team, I saw 3 of them were pushing into B to capture it. So instead of following them and making it a 4-man cap, I made sure I stayed behind and gave them cover. And it's really important that you do that, because that guy could have came in and killed 2, 3, 4 of you and recaptured the position. It's important that there's a balance of slaying and capturing the objectives when you're trying to win a game. And I'm going to talk a bit about why I'm using these 3 kill streaks. I'm using a Predator missile, an H6 Overwatch, and a Pavlo. And realistically, I know a lot of people like the Reaper and the AC-130, but I like to have air support above me, as well as being able to move around and kill people on the ground. That I learned from one of my old roommates. He would use an attack helicopter while I would use a Reaper. And my point of view was, with a Reaper, even if the other team is using blind eye, you might be able to spot them and get a few kills, while an attack helicopter is completely useless. And his response was, while you're using a Reaper, you might get those kills, but you're vulnerable on the ground and you could die and get knocked off your kill streak. With an attack helicopter, yeah, it might not get any kills, but you can still get kills. Your gun and yourself are still getting kills, and they're not vulnerable. You have the control there for your character. So these are my tips for an assault rifle gameplay. My tips do sometimes transfer over to a submachine rushing gameplay. For example, drop shotting, you want to make sure you have that option anytime. And in general though, when you're using an assault rifle, you want to make sure that you're controlling the game. You want to make sure that you are winning the game and that they have to push and rush and get the objectives, and you can take them out with the assault rifle. Here's the shot I'm talking about right here that I'll be showing my friend later. I get the MOAB using this little through the window, and let's be honest, if you're up in that window, you are never going to see that shot coming. So that one did take me a while to get the MOAB. It took me almost all the game. It got it about 166, and now I just got to focus on winning this game, because that's always a must in Call of Duty. You got to put all your focus into winning the game, and then you can focus on making it exciting. For some reason, I don't really know why, I put all the tips that I just put in this video out the window, and I suddenly play really stupid here. You'll see, I just rush this spawn and die. It's no drop shot, no nothing, just die. I don't really know what happened. I just kind of got, yay, MOAB, you know, the usual. But now that the gun streak is done, I can talk about the tips that I've given you and kind of recap. First one was, when you're rushing, make sure you use a rushing gun, submachine gun preferred. You don't want to use a sniper or a heavy assault rifle or a light machine gun, because you're going to be putting yourself at a disadvantage when you're rushing with it. Second tip was, if you think there's a guy coming around the corner or being around the corner, ADS and make sure you're ready to win that gunfight if he does come around the corner. And don't chase him, because he will have the advantage then. He will be doing the same thing to you if he doesn't come around the corner. If he doesn't come around the corner, back off, go back, you know, make sure that you have the advantage in gunfights. Never put yourself at your own choice's disadvantage. The third one is never stay in the same place longer than you have to. If you can get a double or triple kill in one place, that's great. But they're going to come back and find you. They're going to spawn behind you. They're going to do something that is going to get you killed. So make sure that you're always moving, that you're always in a different spot when you're getting the kills. It'll make sure that you can stay alive longer. Next, if you have air support up, always let it do its job. You got it for a reason. It's building up to something. Don't put yourself at a disadvantage when you could have gotten your Pablo, you could have gotten your AC-130, if you had just sit back and let your air support do its job. And I don't mean camp, don't sit in a corner, but make sure that your air support can do its job and you will not be stupid and die, essentially. Next, the most important one in my mind is drop shot. It will keep your streaks going, you will get a lot more kills, and it's a lot of fun when there's a kid raging at you because you managed to drop shot and kill him when he easily should have gotten you. Then, map awareness, know where your team is, know where the enemy team will be, and use that to your advantage. And as always, win the game. That's the most important. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.